Okay, so let's continue. In the last lecture, we have started with GCD, the greatest common divisor. So now we will go. Also, we are going to see the algorithm. Whatever the algorithm, that's what we have used actually in our GCD example. That is a Euclid algorithms. So that's code also we are going to see. One thing now we are going to see is the modular. So before going in the Euclid algorithms, we get to know what we mean by module, right? So generally we know there is a modulo operator available in even in our programming language. The percentage sign, that's what we are going to use it like. So it's considered, for example, we have a 30 modulo 6. Okay, so it is actually a 0. That is what the reminder. Sometimes they are writing in this word mod modulo 6. Okay, so that is 0. So similarly, if I write 31 mod 6, that is actually a 1. Okay, so that is the way it will be there. Okay, just a one random question. If I write minus 31 mod 6, what is that? Is that a 1 or minus 1? Yes. So if I write minus 1 30 mod 6, will it be a minus 1? Yeah, one answer is means from, because 31 mod 6 is 1, so it means if I convert 31 into minus, kind of, then I will get kind of, the 1. So it is minus 1 here. So one answer is minus 1. Any other answer? We are applying a modulo operator. So with positive numbers, we know I'm interested in a negative numbers. Okay, any guess from anyone other than minus 1? Means how the, I think minus 1 is not the correct answer, because always your reminder will always be a positive numbers, right? So that is what the way is there. So it means either it is a, you can 0 or any positive number. Okay, so non-negative number, in other words, that is always be a reminder. So minus 1 is not a correct answer. So now it means I have to take a multiple of 6 that is crossing the 31, right? So if I take 6 into 5, it is 30. So next I have to take 6 into 6, it is 36. So 36 is crossing that thing. So that's why now we have to take the difference between 36 and 31. Okay, so that is 5. It means the minus 31 mod 6 equal to 5. Okay, so it means from whatever the minus number that is given to you, you have to take the next positive number in multiple of a 6. The just reverse what we are doing with positive 31. We are taking the highest one but less than the 31. If the number is minus 30, okay, then we have to go in the next one in positive, and then we will take the difference and it will be our kind of a answers. Okay, but make sure always the modulo will give you either a non-negative number only. So this is what a modulo operations. The word is a mod n. Okay, so here n is called the modulus, right? So whatever the answer that actually we are getting from a mod n. So in our example of 30 mod 6, that is 0. That is we call the residue, or the, in our words, it is also a reminder, right? Clear? So this is in terms of, in general, we have a equal to qn plus b's. Okay, so b is a kind of whatever the number that is there. Yeah. So b is always between 0 to n minus 1. So already in last lecture we have proved that why b is never be an n, right? Otherwise it becomes q plus 1. Okay. So this is what, again, the example you can see that modulo. Okay. Now if we are found two numbers, we get the same modulo, right, answer. Okay. So for example, if I'm writing 30 mod 6, okay, so here you can see there are two things, like here there is a 9 mod 7 and 2 mod 7. Okay, so if I write both this thing, ultimately what is my reminder? That is always be a 2, right? So this means this 2 and this 9, that is called the congruent. Okay, because make sure we are using the same n here. We are not changing the n, we are changing the a and b. Okay, so that is the way it will be there. Okay. Now these are certain arithmetics with also we can try to use with modulo. Okay, just we cannot apply the only kind of mod functions. but we can try to use that what we have. So generally, if you apply the mode, the remainder will be between kind of 0 to n minus 1. That is the way it will be there. So of course, the question is, can we, try to use some properties of this thing? So you can see the first property is that if I have a plus b mod n, now if a plus b is sufficiently a large number something, okay, then what I can try to do is I can first try to reduce the a, then first try to reduce the b. So by doing a mod, your number will be somewhat reduced, right? Because you are doing modulo n, that's why. So that whatever the remainder, and ultimately you have to do at the end modulo n, so that your power or your kind of multiplying or adding the bigger numbers will be coming as a smaller number. So it's like first you are converting your bigger number in a smaller number, and then you can do it. So now this is, you can see one particular operations. Okay. Now similarly we can also apply in a negative, right? The same positive sum the negative. Okay. Now similarly we can also apply in a multiply. So now you can try to see that when you are multiplying a two large digit number, your final answer is also a large digit number, right? So it might take much more time to multiply and then take the mode. So the kind of a trick here is that first take, try to convert those larger number in a smaller numbers and then try to do the mode. So it's like, just let me give you a kind of example here in general. So for example, if I will take here a equal to, okay, 2, 3, 6, 8, 1, 8, 6. Now you can see this a and b. Yeah, we also have to take n. Okay. For example, n I will take 2. Okay. Now take the first approach, this one. If you want to do this multiply, first multiply these two numbers, okay, and then do the modulo. Will it be a good method? No, because a and b both are itself a bigger numbers, right? And if you try to multiply them, it will take a time, right, to multiply those bigger numbers. So what is the smart trick? First convert this number or try to reduce using these things. Okay. So what I will do, first find, I will do the a modulo 2. So what is my a modulo n here? Okay. Will it be a, you can say, what is the answer? A modulo n. Any guess from anyone? A modulo 2.
Sir, 1.
Very good. What is the b modulo 2?
0.
Good. So you are here 1, here it is 0. 1 into 0, answer is 0. 0 more 2, answer is 0. Now you can see that just you have to multiply 1 into 0. So compared to multiplying two bigger numbers, okay, you can see here these are the bigger numbers. It is very easy to multiply the smaller numbers. It will take much less time. Okay, so that's why these are tips and tricks that because in a cryptography or in security we are not dealing with a smaller numbers like 10, 20, 30, 40. We are dealing with a higher numbers. Okay, so that the more higher numbers we have, it is hard for attacker to again remodule those things. But we have to make sure on other hand that by taking a higher numbers, if we are increasing a time for a kind of a sender side to unnecessary computations, it is a overhead, right? So that is a smart tricks we can try to utilize. So this is what the kind of examples of first one properties, second one, and the third one, that's you can see. Okay, so other than multiplying to larger number 11 into 15, that we can try to take, and then we can try to continue the mode. Okay, so it is easy to take it 20 mode 8 compared to the 165 mode 8. That is the way. Okay, now one table that you can try to see here, that is a modulo 8 table. The moment it is a 8, it is means from 0 to 7. Okay, that is the way to use always, because you have an n, so modulo will give you from 0 to n minus 1 all possible values, right? Now can anyone tell me, let me try to see that why there is a 1 here. For example, this one that I have highlighted. Let me take a student. Smith, can you tell me why there is a 1 here? Okay, Kashyap. I assume there is only one Kashyap in a class. Otherwise, students are confused. Sometimes it may happen that Luckily with my name in my class, I am the lucky one that I have got only one name. Otherwise, sometimes students got two, then they will try to use a tactic that if there are two students taking the same name, let's see who is giving answer first. Okay, Jatin. Looks like all are in a technical glitch. Okay, anyone? Yeah, okay, Ritu, can you tell me?
Yeah, sir, it is 5 plus 4, that is 8. Sorry, that is 9, and 9 divided by 8, that is 1.
5 plus 4, that is
9.
9. Okay,
Yeah.
and 9, I think more 8 is
Yeah.
always there, right? So
Yeah.
it will be
So
1.
1.
Good, very good.
Yeah.
So now you can see that everywhere you have to do the additions of whatever the number. So here you can see one number coming from here, one number coming from here. Okay, that is the way it will be there. And then you do the additions, and then at last you have to do the modulo. So it means every time you have to do the modulo by anyhow. Okay, so that's will be try to help to you. Now one other thing that's anyone has observed in this table.
Sir, circular fashion.
Very good. Circular fashions, good. Okay, so now if you can try to see the all the rows. Okay, 0 to 7 is always there, right? And every time it is not going to be duplicate. Okay, so in a single row, one value is repeat one times only, right? So that is the property that can be possible if we are using additive kind of a things in future. So that's we have to also see whether in a multiply the same property also hold. Okay, so this is what a kind of thing is there. So the answer that is that if we are using a additive group, so group will become soon. So if we have a kind of a circular that it is from complete, it is again coming, then we can try to use the property, right? So here if you can try to see, yeah, one thing take care, it is a multiply sign here. Okay, just take care, it is this thing. Okay, let's try to make it multiply. So here every numbers you can try to see. For example, if I now take the, for example, this 0. So this is the 4 and this is the 4. So 4 into 4, that's it will do. It will be 16, and 16 more 8, it will be 0. Okay. But now here the previous property is not maintained here, right? So if my group, so in security we are using the group fields, everything. So if I want multiplicative, that is much more required in our cryptography algorithms too. So this particular 8 is not maintaining that property, right? Every row, that is not a uniqueness, it is not circular. So that property actually we want for every row. Okay, so that what we are missing here. So that's why, but this is what you can say, that every time whatever the additions or multiplications, similarly you can try to create a minus. Okay, the subtractions, that's also you can try to take it, and that also you will try to get using the modulo. Okay, so now these are certain laws in terms of modulo. One is commutative law, the second one is associative, distributive kind of law. Okay, so and so on, and of course you always have some inverse is available, right? So inverse, it means that if you do the kind of whatever the operations with each other, right, in terms of either additions or in terms of a kind of a multiplications, then you will got whatever the identity element. Okay, so in terms of additions, kind of you can say the 0, in terms of multiplications the 1. Okay, so that is we call the inverse. So in terms of we have additive inverse, it means for additions. Similarly we have a multiplicative inverse word also there. Okay, so multiplicative inverse will be used for a multiply, right? So if you are multiplying these two numbers and do the mode operations, actually you will get the 1. Okay, so for example here, let me take one, just a minute, let me take one kind of ideal case. So here in this case, for example, 1 is there. So 5 is actually the inverse of 5 in terms of 8, right? So that if you will multiply these two numbers, then if you do the modulo, you will get the 1. Okay, similarly for each number you have to check whether the inverse is available or not. Now for some numbers I can see the inverse is not available, right? Like for 7 inverse is available, for 6 there is no way I can get a kind of, you can see the particular 1. Okay, so that is what the thing, that is a problem if you are using a multiplicative. That is the, yeah. So this is what our Euclid algorithm. So now after completing a modulo, this is actually we have done example first, right? So this is what we want to find out, GCD of AB. Okay, and we know the code that every time till we don't get the reminder 0. Reminder means whatever you can say our particular b part is not 0. Okay, so this is actually b was a reminder in the previous case. If you go in the next recursive call, then you are returning a and a will be our answer. But if your b is not 0, it means again you have to recall these particular functions. Okay, so this is what actually the functions, you can say it is a recursive functions. Again you are calling the functions, you are changing a by b and b by a mod b. So that's why you can see that how the modulo is used here. Just is it's you can see the 3 line of code. Okay, so now whatever the homework questions I have given you in the yesterday, now you can try to relate here with this thing, that try to find out the complexity of this recursive code. Don't go with if there is a no for loop, it means it is big of 1, right? If you can see 2 lines, it is actually big of 1 because there is no for while loop, nothing is there. Fine. So big of 1 is there, but will it be actually big of 1 because we are using the recursion based notions. Okay, so that is what a hint for the yesterday's homework questions. So now we are going with a word group. Okay, group is I think actually in our real life also we are using this word, right? A group means a set of students, right? So I think in a project also you are groups, right? In what in previous DBMS and in other subjects also. So that is actually a group. So that is some group having a finite number, some group are having a kind of in terms of theory that is an infinite number. That is the way, and then we can try to see a certain kind of operations, and whatever the operations that we will apply, the answer of that operations also lies in a group. Okay, so it's like 5 into 5 we will do, and then we will do the mode, and ultimately whatever the answer also lies in our group. So that is the way it will be there. So these are certain laws that will group have to follow, like multiply rows, certain identity elements. So whatever the identity element, so group can be additive, group can be a multiplicative, both group is valid, right? So if you are using additive, you have to use the additions everywhere. If you are using a multiplicative group, every time you have to apply the multiplicative operations. Okay, and of course there is a kind of abelian. So if it provide the commutative, it's like if you multiply a whatever operations, so here dot they are writing everywhere because dot is the operations. If you are using multiplicative, you are using additive, whatever the thing you are using, according to your dot is replaced by that particular operations. Okay, so that is the way. Now we are more interested in a cyclic group. So a cycle will be again coming. So consider that, for example, there are 3 students in a class. Okay, any class. They are a group. Now I will ask to first students, what is the answer to these questions? Now that student is passing to their friend. That friend is passing to the second, third friend, and the third friend is again passing to the first friend. So that is where the cycle is going on. So this is what a cyclic group. Okay, so whatever the operations that you are doing, that come within a kind of a cycle, and every time you are getting all your elements. Okay, so by doing this thing, because you require some generator here, so that thing is also coming, but using that you are getting all your elements. Okay, no element is going to be repeat. So every time you are doing this thing, you are getting a next element. So this is in general a properties there. Okay, so I think I understand this is a somewhat kind of a mess, but just as a student or just as a persons who's working in the security field, at least you people get to know that there are a certain kind of a property that will be there. It is fine that when we are doing a practicals, actually we are calling these functions that is already developed, but as we supposed to know that when we are using this thing, there are certain properties we are getting as advantage, so that when we are doing a multiply 2 values, okay, for example with a plain text, if we are multiplying 2 values, then we ensure that whatever the operation that is again coming in that particular group, ring or field. So generally we are working on a field. The reason is that we are getting kind of more and more properties if we are going with a field. Okay, because we don't know whatever the algorithm that is designed next, which operations they require. They can require any operations. You can't limit a person's that now you have to use only these operations. Let you give them a flexibility of all operations so that they can prepare a complex particular code. So now even in a fields, we are interested in a Galois field, that is we call the finite fields. Okay, so the short form of the Galois field is GF. Okay, but we want something with in that property. Let any group cannot be a Galois field, there is certain property the field supposed to have something, so that you can try to play that thing, and that finite fields or Galois field are playing a role in cryptography. That is generally we are going to use this thing. Okay, so these are, I think we will take one example soon. So whatever the number that we are taking here, this is actually a one number. We will see one example also, that number is there. So that always will give the numbers between 0 to p minus 1. Okay. So whenever we will do the modulo, and there is no repetitions on the number. Of course, they have certain advantage of using the kind of inverses and so on, because with a field, that property you supposed to have. So now look at this thing. I think previously we have seen a multiplication example of a 8. Now you can see the example of a 7. Okay. Now 7 is kind of doing a perfect example of you can see the p, because for you can see in each row. Okay. There is number is never be repeated, right? Every number kind of is coming once. Okay. That's you can see. There is no repetitions. In other words, here every number, if you take from 1 to 6, every number is having the inverse. Okay. For example, what is the inverse of 5? For the 5, the inverse of 5 is 3. Okay. The reason is that if you do 5 into 3, you will get 15. And of course, the mod 7 is always be there because you are working with 7. Okay. So that's why your answer will be 1. And the moment you get 1, so 1 is kind of identity element in a multiply, right? Additions, we have a 0. So here, that's why this particular group is success for to make as a finite field, right? If we are using a 8, GF of 8, it is not success because in every row we are not getting a unique. It means some elements are having inverse, some element does not have an inverse. That is what the problem is there, right? So that's why we have to use this thing. Okay. Now we are going a next one. These are we call say the polynomial arithmetic. So look at the general equations. I think in your maths maybe you have encountered these equations. We have some functions with certain degree of polynomial. This is a degree, here is n. So these are our coefficients and these are our equations, so and so on. And then we can try to utilize these equations in some ciphers in a futures. Okay, but this is you can say the arithmetic part. Okay, so there are of course we can try to even try to play with this arithmetic. Yeah, make sure one thing always be there, modulo is always be now present. Okay, now onwards whatever the ciphers or whatever the algorithms we are going to see, at every sentence they are not writing at last the mod p. Okay, like we have done in a previous slide, that whenever do any operations, at last we have to apply the modulo operations. So that's why if you see particular any kind of a textbooks, research material or anything, they are writing a sentence. Not every sentence they are writing a mod p. It is a implicit understood that whenever you do any operations, at last a mod that operation is supposed to be applied. Okay, that is the way it always be there. So that your answer will be between 0 to p minus 1. Of course, now you have a kind of all the equations. So can we try to do the addition and subtractions of two equations? Let's say for example, we have a two equations. This polynomial arithmetic, one is f of x and one is g of x. So now if you can try to do additions, so of course corresponding kind of a degree same you have to check out. X raised to 3 we have a unique. Now x raised to 2 and x raised to 2, of course there is a matching here, so it is 1 plus 1 2 because both are positive. Now minus x, there is no here, x is here, that's why, and there is a 2 and 1. So corresponding coefficients, if the degree is matching, we can try to use that thing. Similarly, we can try to do the subtractions. So whatever the entire this numbers minus this entire numbers. Okay, that is the way. So simple what we are doing in our regular mathematics, and accordingly we can try to also multiply these things. Okay, multiply the two kind of arithmetics with the degrees. Okay? And make sure every time you do any other things, modulo is always be there. Okay, so that's why whatever the number that we are going to do it, that depends on what you are going to take it. So generally it depends on what the prime number. So that's why sometimes people are prefer the prime numbers. Like in our example, 7 is the prime numbers. Okay, so that's why you can see in our kind of things, 7 is or any prime number will be kind of you can say the one of the base in a security. So generally we are not interested in lower prime numbers. We are interested in a higher prime numbers, a very prime number. So that's why one of the area of a research in security is to check whether the given number is a prime or not. That is actually we call the primality testing. Okay. So if I give you a smaller number, fine, you can try all the modulo from whatever to whatever number. But if I give you a very large number, do you think that every number you can try to do the modulo and check whether it is coming one or not? No, it is a name method. So that's why it is a kind of a brave method we require. So we can check whether this number is a prime number or not. And we can see in a future lectures that even people are putting a crypto challenge. Okay, the word is there, crypto challenge, in which they are giving you a kind of a number and you have to find their prime factors. Okay, so and from that prime, like for example, if I give you 35 and I will ask you, does it have a prime factors? Yes, 7 and 5 both are a prime number. So if I give you a number, if you can give me their both the prime factors, okay, that is also actually a kind of a crypto challenge and people are putting. And if you can win those challenge, then you are getting in terms of dollars, and that will be roughly, I think, some 5-digit number is there. Okay, amount. As of now, I think it is not there, but at least if you try to do that thing, it will be, at least try to make the famous. So this is our next one, a kind of a generator. So generator is a thing through which you can try to generate all the particular elements. Okay. So for example, whatever my generator, that's I will do this 0 will always be a start because anyhow 0 is always be there. So 0 to 0, 0 to 1, G is my generator, whatever the numbers that I'm going to do it. So every time I will do the generators, it is again coming in my particular group only. Okay. Uh, Okay, so now I want students who can try to tell me that, sir, this is actually a field. This is, for example, 7. Then who is the generator? G. Make sure using generator again, you have to generate all your kind of elements and there is no repetitions. Okay, let me give you a hint so that you people kind of try to tell me. Okay, so you have to give me one example of some number. Let's say number is there. For example, P is the, let's say, number. Okay, I will define as G is some another number, so that whenever I will go, 0 is by default there, 0 and 1. Okay, 0, this is 0 raised to 0. So whatever generator you are selecting, raised to 0 is always give you 1. Okay, then G raised to 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, if I go again next, so done. This all will gives me a unique number. That is what I want. So you have to tell me a numbers that can give me this thing. So if we are getting a such G, yeah, make sure whenever do any operations, what is the last? Mod 7 is always be required. Okay. So the first question, can I take G equal to 3? Let me try. Okay. So fine, 3 raised to 0, it is 1, 1 is there. 3 raised to 1, it is 3. 3 mod 7 is 3. 3 raised to 2, 9. 9 mod 7 is 2. Of course, we haven't yet get repetitions. Very good. 1, 3, 2. Now 3 raised to 3, 27 mod 7. What is that number? 6. Tell me if I'm doing any wrong. 3 raised to 4, 81 mod 7. What is that answer? Yeah. Any answer? 81 mod 7.
Four.
Good. Then 3 raised to 5. Sorry, 3 raised to 5. It is 3 mod 7. Yeah, what is the answer of this thing? 243 mod 7.
Five.
Okay, 5. Good. Now, if we do, let me go here. 3 raised to 6 mod 7. What is the answer?
One.
1. Good. Okay, 3 raised to 7 mod 7. What is the answer?
Three.
3. Okay. So I can see here 1, 3, 2, 6, then 4, 5. I'm just trying to see the sequence here. 1, 3, 2, 6, 4, 5. Again 1, 3. So what will be 3 raised to 8 mod 7? Just in my curiosity, for curiosity I'm asking, what is 3 raised to 8 mod 7? Will it be a 2? Now I think here you have to apply the smart trick. Can anyone tell me other than computing 3 raised to 8?
2.
Good. So what is the smart trick if I have to, let's say if I have to compute, for example, if I'm asking you 3 raised to 24 mod 7.
Sir, we have to multiply 3 raised to 4 into 3 raised to 4, and both of the reminders we have to multiply. And then
Very
again apply 8 by 7.
excellent. So now you can see the applications of those modulo kind of, properties that we have seen, that other than if you do a 3 raised to 8 in a conventional way, 3 into 3 into 3, 8 times, and apply the mod 7, it may take more time. Other than already you have a 3 raised to 4 answer is there. The 3 raised to 4 mod 7 is actually a 4, right? So just that 4 into 4, right? The 8 you will divide in 3 raised to 4 into 3 raised to 4. So similarly here you have a kind of, 3 raised to 24. So I know 3 raised to 24 is either whatever previous number that we have calculated. From that I can try to take it, okay? And that's actually will give my answer. So now you can see the modulo properties is too much useful when you are trying to see. So that's why you can see this is actually a generator. So generator does not mean that it will give you the group element. It will give you the group element in that sequence in a continuous order, right? So here my sequence is 1, 3, 2, 6, 4, 5. Again 1, 3, 2, 6, 4, 5, 1, 3, 2, 6, 4, 5. That is what the generators will do, right? And that is not a repetition. So every number is a kind of a unique there. That is the way it will work. Okay. So this is when we have this type of this number, that is a kind of, all the rows in a multiplications we have tried to use these things, and this type of generators when we have, then this type of things we can try to use in cryptography. So before to be eligible for a cryptography or algorithms to a selections of this number, that property is supposed to be maintained, because we require these generators in our cryptography algorithm, and that we want with this property. Because if our number is unnecessary collisions, if let's say 3 raised to 2 and 3 raised to 4 both will give me the same answers, then it may happens, okay, that is actually we can say the non-plain text attack, that two plain text having a same ciphertext. Now what is the problem there? the receiver will confuse that which one is the correct plain text if there are multiple meaning is there. So that's why uniqueness we require this thing when we are working in the groups and this generator things. Okay. So let me give you, yeah, I think one right now one homework. First homework. GCD of 143. Okay, just before going in homework, I think let me try to solve our one problems. Just let me try to yesterday 2 homeworks I have given. So anyone has work on 2 homeworks, even though I don't have to ask these questions, but let me ask for first homeworks. So anyone has done? There are 2 homeworks. One is the complexity of GCD, and second is whenever we are finding GCD of A comma B, will it be required that will it be required that A must be greater than B? So does any student says work on any of those homework questions? If not, then let me try to help this time with your second homework questions. Okay. So what our task is to find out, for example, let me take 30 and 24. So smaller numbers will be try to helpful us. Okay. So according to method, this is becomes our A, this is becomes our B. So let me write in this thing A, B, this is a quotient and this is a remainder. Okay. So this is my, for example, 30. This is 24. We are applying the Euclid algorithms. Okay. So first task is there is no kind of, B is not 0, means non-zero value. That's why we have to apply this thing. Okay. So what is my quotient is 1. Okay. And what is my remainder here is 6. Okay. So next time this B becomes A. So it is becomes 24. Okay. And what is my here value will become 1 or 6?
Six.
Sure. Anyone saying 1? Well, I think that is correct. We don't have a, one here. Whatever the remainder, that becomes my B here. So if you remember the Euclid algorithms, let me see. This is what the Euclid algorithms, right? So either if there is a B is 0, we return A. Otherwise, again, we are recursive calling with A and A mod B. So A mod B is actually our reminders. Okay. So not the quotient, that is a reminder. So B is as it is and reminder we are going to put. Okay, 24 and 6. What is the quotient and reminder? I think reminder is 0. What is the quotient? 4. What do you mean by quotient? So 6 into 4, that is 24, right? So 4 is there. Okay. Now next one, do I have to call? No, because the reason if we are getting a reminder 0, because it will actually call with the next value. That is, you can see 6 and 0. It is calling the function, but moment we got the B value 0, whatever this value, that is the answer. Okay. So now using this thing we have done. Now question is, if we try to swap A and B, do we get the same answers? Let's try it out. Whether our Euclid's algorithm is correct or not in that way. Okay. Okay, so now when we first do this thing, what is the quotient and remainder?
0 and 24.
0 and 24. Good. The next time 30. Well, now you can see if my now this becomes our conventional, right? From here it is become like whatever what we done previously. So if anyhow, if my A is less than B, within one iterations my A become kind of greater than B with one modulo operations, because it is a more reminder that we are actually replacing. So that's now you can see that whether I am using A less than B or A greater than B, there is nothing more in kind of a complexity or in other terms in algorithm. Just one more lines will be there. Surely in second line it is swap. Simple. Okay, so that is what you can see the advantage of these algorithms. That's you don't have to worry about whatever the A B value in whatever way you are giving, it will give you exactly the same answers. Okay. Yeah, so I think we are coming to your end. Just to okay, I think some students, those who have somehow missed the deadline or technically or missed, okay, I think some chats I have received. So fine, I can take it, but I don't want that this becomes the traditions in a class. Okay, because I think also in first assignment it is late. I understood that due to some technical reason, somewhat time is here and there, but I am giving you a 1 week, so that's actually we can again, because already for the last assignment I have increased the deadline by 1 day. If you remember for that one Caesar cipher and the first one practical. So if for every practical, if I'm increasing a one day, it's become actually a tradition that sir is increasing, so that thing is there. So one thing that this time I require from you people that to maintain the deadlines. So let's see that I'm considering for this relevance, but for next one actually I have to think something so that you people have a kind of become a tendency that if I have to do a work on this day, then better I will start a work before kind of, you can say, try to submit before at least some 1 day earlier. So according to me, try to plan that what are the deadline that is given to you. Try to do the things before 1 day. Otherwise, on the end of the day, whatever the deadline, again you people have to go here, do the things at the end moment, and using that thing that will try to create issues for your other schedules. So just try to fulfill the deadlines, right? So please try to take care of the deadlines. I understood for some kind of a genuine times, genuine reasons, it is fine. But please do not make it a tradition in a class that every time if I will get a request again and again, then see if you can try to make it before 1 day or with your deadlines, then the things will be taken care. Okay. Because I think I'm giving you a 1 week from every Friday I'm giving you a problem, and every Thursday. So from Friday to Thursday you have about 1 week time is there tentatively, so that you can try to do the things. Because once you upload, then we are going to check the things, and what we are going to do it. Okay. And for also that, once I will give you the marks of your things, surely even if you have any kind of a concerns there, I will put an open window for some time, so that kind of a corrections, if there is something from our side, if we have kind of misunderstood what you have done. So I think the more details we can discuss on today's 2 o'clock lecture when there is a lab, and I will tell you how we have evaluated your second practical. First practical is somewhat kind of a things that fine, but second practical I have given you a component, right? So on the component basis, we are now this time going on evaluating that what you have done, how you have done it. Okay, make sure till now I haven't tried to go in the plagiarism, but it may be happen on a surprise mode. So I always request everyone, do the things in your own way to make it kind of cross checking.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, actually, I have a doubt in decryption. Means I'm not able to enable the logic